We're on the site of Charles Springs. This is also the site of Charles Ferry River Crossing. This boat ramp was built in 1981 on the exact same site of the Charles Ferry. Ruben and Rebecca Charles settled in this area in the earlier half of the 19th century. I don't have an exact date, but it was before the war, before 1850. Anyway, this was a ferry. He operated this ferry. He got killed by Indians. I think it said 1840, so it would have had to have been prior to that, obviously, that they founded it here. But his daughter and wife were allowed to remain on this property, according to legend, if they wore a red scarf each, so that the Indians would know who they were. Apparently, the Indians were very hostile and very active in this area, which makes sense because this would have been, we're probably about 25 miles southwest of Live Oak. So this is North Florida. This is absolutely North Florida. So the Indians would have been, Indians weren't any different than anybody else. Nobody wants to live down in the swamps and, in the middle of nowhere if they don't have to. They got pushed into that area. And the Seminoles, which are a makeup, of course, of the Creeks and all the other various southern tribes and black slaves and everybody else that ran away down here to get away from European encroachment, would have gradually settled north, and then further south they were pushed further south by European encroachment. So this is where the Indians would have been very active, but as time went on, they wouldn't have been as active in the middle part of the state as they were on the coast and the middle part, where you get further south, down there, Bush and Old Sumter County area, that sort of thing. There's probably another 150 miles south of here. Anyway, this is really intriguing to me. This is part of the old Bellamy Road right here. We're going up to it. We just came down part of it. There's a sign here that says we're on it, and that is really neat. We came up here to find this cemetery. The lovely research assistant, being the genius that she is, which we were reading in Live Oak. We were at a cemetery, and there were a number of families named Dowling, a number of gravesites named Dowling, a big bunch of them. So we wanted to find out who those people were, and when we did that, did you find it? I'm sorry? At the cemetery?
At the road.
Oh, at the road.
But there's a sign.
This is cemetery. Let's do it. Anyway, again, she, in her inimitable way, we started looking up who the Dowlings were, and as a cross-reference to that, discovered the Charles family, who homesteaded this area. And again, as we showed before, we saw the ferry. After Ruben was killed, the wife and subsequent descendants operated the ferry until it was shut down in 1875. And as we saw in 1981, they built the boat ramp on the exact location.
They had to wear the scarf.
What's that?
For protection from the Indians.
Yeah, I mentioned the scarf thing. Yeah, good tip. But anyway, so due to her, we found it, and we are literally as out in the middle of nowhere as we generally can get. We came down 5 miles of this road, 5 miles of that road, 2 miles of this road, at 800 feet turn here type thing. We were literally out in the middle of nowhere, but the springs are like probably a, fourth or fifth magnitude. Very small spring, but very, very beautiful. And that's on the other side of all this. But it's just one of the many springs that feed the Suwannee River throughout the course of the Suwannee River. Historic Charles Cemetery. Oh yeah, gotta get rid of that big old, oh my gosh, there's all kinds of spiders up in there. Yeah, homie don't do no spiders. Let me get a stick and we'll get rid of that mess. You got it? I got a good one here. Did you get it, babe? All right. Mine broke anyway.
So you can't read it from the other side. You have to walk down the...
You have to have a lovely research assistant who looks this stuff up and finds it. I always say I get more credit than I deserve.